The question is, can President Trump override local Illinois and Chicago authorities and stop the murder? Joining us now from Washington, Horace Cooper, an attorney who specializes in federal law. So can he go in? And Cook County is where Chicago's located. Everybody says the same thing. Gun crimes are not prosecuted aggressively. The sentences are way too low. The gang thing is getting worse. The mayor of Chicago has no clue. The governor of Illinois doesn't want to do anything about it. So can the feds go in and stop this?
Well, absolutely, the feds can do this. And as you've pointed out, there has been a wholesale failure on the part of the state and local community to address this really serious problem. I don't know another word besides carnage to describe the devastation that's been taking place. Let's remember, we had a shooting in South Carolina. The state of South Carolina prosecuted that killer in the church shooting, and the federal government was allowed to come in because the federal government's statutory authority was actually greater than that of the state government.
But wasn't that a hate crime situation and it allowed the feds to come in? This isn't a hate crime thing. This is a failure. It's almost like New Orleans when the feds went in and took over the New Orleans Police Department. Okay? There's a failure to protect American citizens in Chicago. That's what it is. You don't have, what is it, 228 people shot in 23 days? That's worse than Afghanistan. All right? No, and it's been going on for 7 or 8 years. So Sessions takes over. You assume he'll be okayed next week. And he comes in and he does what? Does he send federal authorities into Chicago? What does he do?
So he sends a Justice Department directive that says to the U.S. attorneys in that jurisdiction in Cook County that they are going to work directly with the prosecutors. They're going to work directly, have the FBI and the local law enforcement work together, and they're going to pick which cases that they come across that they're going to prosecute directly. This doesn't require change in law. This simply requires will and
So the U.S. attorneys in Cook County can go in and say to the local Chicago DA, district attorney, I'm taking that gun case.
Absolutely.
I'm taking that murder case. It's a federal beef. They have the authority to take it away.
They absolutely do, and we already see this happening. That's why I mentioned the incident in South Carolina. But in any bank robbery case, the feds are able to step in at any point. In a kidnapping case, they're allowed to step in.
But those are federal crimes, kidnapping but murder, local murder, is a local beef or a state beef.
So what you do is what we did in Richmond, Virginia. You say, if we find an instance, and we're seeing these numbers overwhelmingly in Chicago, if we find an instance where you're a felon and you're in possession of a firearm, you've now got a federal beef. We are going to take those prosecution cases. You know, the Chicago Sun-Times did an analysis of what the locals are doing, and they're giving, on average, about 1.5 years sentences. And then
insane.
The prison is saying to the people, you don't even have to serve even 1/3 of that amount of time. We absolutely need to bring in the U.S. attorney, send these people off to federal prison, nowhere even necessarily in Illinois, and
you know
make sure they're held accountable.
President Trump could do? He could call in the National Guard.
Absolutely, you could call in the National Guard.
The governor won't. Governor is afraid. The governor's a coward. All right? So if I were president, I'd say, you know what? For the next month, we're going to have the Guard in these neighborhoods to stop this. Because you're right, it's carnage and it's racism. It's black people getting killed, innocent black people. And if it were happening in a white neighborhood, believe me, it would stop.
Everybody would be against it if it happened then. Thank you for having this discussion.
It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you.